Hello everyone. I hope you all doing well. Today I'm going to present to you The Happy Prince by Oscar Wilde. First we have plot summary. The Happy Prince by Oscar Wilde is about the statue who learns about suffering after death. From above the city, the Happy Prince sees poor people and asks a swallow to help him give away his jewels and gold to them. The swallow delays his journey to Egypt and loyally helps the prince. But winter comes and the bird dies from the cold. The statue becomes ugly after losing all its riches, so it is taken down. In the end, the prince's broken hearts and the dead swallow are seen as the most valuable things because of their kindness and sacrifice. Second, we have characters. The first character and the main character is the happy prince. He changed from a prince who knew only happiness and luxury into a symbol of kindness and sacrifice. After death, he sees the suffering of the poor and gives away all his riches to help them, showing that true values come from compassion, not beauty. The swallow. At first, he is focused on his own journey, but he grows into a loyal and caring character. He chooses to stay with the prince and help others, even though it leads to his death, showing love and self-sacrifice. The seamstress. She represents the hard-working poor. Despite her difficult life and sick child, she continues working, showing responsibility and quiet suffering. We have the wrong writer. He symbolizes talented people who struggle because of poverty. His creativity is limited by his lack of food, warmth, and support. The little match girl. She represents innocence and weakness in society. Her suffering shows how even children are affected by poverty and harsh conditions. The mayor and townspeople. They represent a shallow society that values appearance over kindness. They admire the statue when it's beautiful, but destroy it when it loses its riches. Third, we have symbols. The happy prince, the statue. He represents kindness, sacrifice, and true compassion. At first, he looks rich and beautiful, but he becomes ugly after giving everything away. This shows that real beauty is inside, not outside. The swallow. The swallow symbolizes loyalty and selflessness. At the beginning, he is carefree and only thinks about himself. But later, he changes and chooses to help the prince and the poor, even if it costs his life. Gold covering the statue. The gold stand for wealth and material beauty. When the prince gives it away, it shows that money should be used to help others, not just for decoration. The ruby and spheres, jewels. These jewels symbolize power and privilege. When they are given to poor people, it shows sharing and helping those in need. Winter/cold. The cold represents suffering, hardship, and death. It is what eventually kills the swallow, showing the price of sacrifice. The city. The city symbolizes society with inequality, where people live comfortably while the poor suffering. It shows how people often ignore others' pain. The prince's heart lead heart. The heart represents true love and humanity, even when everything else is gone. The heart remains strong and does not break easily, showing lasting compassion. The angel and God. They symbolize divine judgment and true values. They choose the swallow and the prince's heart as the most precious things, showing that kindness is more valuable than wealth. Third, Fourth, we have themes. Selflessness and sacrifice. It is one of the most important themes. The happy prince gives away all his riches, his gold covering his fierce eyes and the ruby on his swords, to help the poor people in the city. The swallow also sacrifices his own life. Instead of flying to the warm lands of Egypt, he stays behind to help the prince deliver these requirements. In the end, he dies from the cold. This shows that true goodness often requires giving up comfort, safety, or even life itself for others. Compassion and kindness. The story strongly emphasizes kindness toward others. When the prince was alive, he lived in luxury and did not understand suffering. After his death, he sees the misery of the poor and feels deep sorrow. His compassion drives him to act. The swallow at first helps only because he is asked, but later he develops real empathy and chooses to stay. Weil suggests that true humanity is shown through kindness and care for others. Social inequality, rich versus poor. Weil highlights the sharp contrast between wealth and poverty. The city appears beautiful with the statue of the prince covered in gold. But underneath this beauty, there is hunger, sickness, and hardship. Poor people, like the seamstress and the playwright, struggle to survive, while the rich live comfortably. The themes criticize society for ignoring those in need and focusing only on outward beauty. Appearance versus reality. Another key theme in the difference between how things look and what they really are. The statue of the prince looks happy and perfect, but in reality, he is full of sadness because he can see human suffering. Similarly, the townspeople admire the statue when it's covered in gold, but once it loses its beauty, they consider it useless and destroy it. This shows how people often judge based on appearance rather than true value. Love and friendship. The relationship between the prince and the swallow represent deep friendship and loyalty. At first, the swallow plans to leave quickly, but he becomes emotionally connected to the prince. He listens, helps, and stays with him until the end. Their bond is not based on benefit, but on care and shared purpose. This shows that true friendship involves loyalty, understanding, and sacrifice. Criticism of society and authority. While it criticizes leader and society for being shallow and selfish, the city officials admire the statue only when it looks beautiful. Once it becomes plain, they melt it down. They fail to recognize the prince's true value, his kindness and sacrifice. This reflects how people in power often ignore real goodness and focus on statue and appearance instead. Spiritual reward and true value. At the end of the story, God asks for the two most precious things in the city, and they are the dead swallow and the broken heart of the prince. This shows that true value is not material wealth, but love, sacrifice, and kindness. Even though society rejects them, they are rewarded spiritually. Weil suggests that moral goodness is more important than physical beauty or riches. Thank you for listening. Good luck. Bye.